Today on Master Sprinter TV, the topic is training stimuli, overload versus specificity. Now in the case of tennis players, basketball players, and soccer players, the most specific type of training that they can do is to actually practice their sport. Well, the same applies for sprint athletes. The most specific type of training for sprint athlete is to either do acceleration work or max velocity type work, because that's the most similar type of movement pattern to actually what they do in competition. But coaches of all athletes will actually have their athletes engage in other types of training. Now this could be anything from conventional weightlifting to Olympic lifts, to plyometric work, to sled work. Might be some sort of microload product, maybe hills, mobility work, and a variety of medicine ball work, and a variety of different types of training that provide different degrees of overload versus specificity to the sport, but they all provide a different degree or different type of stimuli that can potentially create an adaptation that benefits the athlete. One of the benefits of resistance training is that it can provide an overload that is not found in sprint training, but the athlete does need to keep in mind, however, that no heavy load movement in the gym can replicate the sort of limb velocities or ground contact times or stride frequencies that one finds in max velocity sprinting. So to that extent, one needs to keep in mind that resistance training is more of a, for a sprint athlete, is more of a kind of a support type of training or an auxiliary type of movement pattern or stimulus, whereas still the primary type of training or focus should continue to be acceleration and max velocity intervals. So while resistance training may still need to serve kind of as a support role or a secondary type of role to sprint training itself, it still serves a vital role for developing kind of the engine or the capacity or ceiling of being able to produce force while sprinting. And so it still has a critical importance. But with any type of training, whether it's resistance training, plyometric work, sprinting in general, or any other type of training that you're doing, there still needs to be a sufficient load or intensity level so that a training stimulus is created where the body needs to adapt to that load or stimulus from that type of training. So while I've used some microload products in some training videos and a little bit outside of those, I haven't really been using microload products consistently to really be able to assess their benefit for me personally. So I think that's something I want to do a test on maybe over the next 2 or 3 months to try to implement using microload products as part of my training. Probably cut back my resistance training to be able to kind of fit that in, and then report back after that time, and we'll see how it goes. And like I said, hopefully there's faster training times. If I don't really see any impact, then we'll just say it's just kind of a different training stimulus. But anyway, that's the video for today. Until next video.